I still see scheduled up. And
Yes. Okay, we have some technical difficulties with YouTube. All of a sudden, it checked out a little while ago, but decided it didn't like us. All right, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in a little bit late with some technical difficulties, and that's what happens when you go live. Hello, I am Ambassador Terry, along with my special guest and very good friend and colleague, Dave Summers, and we're going to talk a little bit about video today. Dave, I'm glad we're here, man.
hey, Terry, I'm excited. Okay, this is my sweet spot. So let's go.
Yeah, it turns me on, and there was only one that I wanted on this conversation, and that was you, my friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna talk. You're the senior executive. You're one of the chiefs of the tribe. Um, you know, it's one thing to put out blanket emails. You might even write them yourself, or maybe you edit them on what's going on with the company, and it's in perfect order and formatting and all that stuff. And a whole lot of your people probably don't even read it. Okay. Certainly their families probably don't, unless it has something to do with company relocation or adding a new venue someplace, then they may be interested. But other than that, day to day, they're not. Mm-hmm. So how do you reach out to them in such a way that they both understand and get to know you as a leader of the company and what you're all about? It's like being in the same room talking to the person. You look right into the camera, and it makes it more personal. And you're going to have a whole lot more people look at that recording, because most of us don't do it live to our own companies, obviously. Dave, thoughts on that one?
In my mind, video it's a superpower, and we're lucky to live in an era when, devices like this have such good recording capability, both from an audio and video standpoint. And so it's the technical thresholds are easily overcome and achieved. So that is one less excuse you have to deal with. And the other thing is people are attuned to video. And more importantly, for these particular cases that you're talking about, they're attuned to the human face. They're attuned to the look in a person's eye, the eyebrows, the smile, the frown, I really got that this was the most important thing this leader was talking about. So we're built for that. We're built for those personal messages and that video, and most importantly, that voice in that face. Apologies, my dog is having a fit in the other
room. Fart alive. My security chief's back with mom somewhere. So yeah, on point. And we live in a world with these all over the place, and they're valid. And for the most part, we relate to those faces on there more interpersonally through various Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, Messenger, various ones. And Google Meet is a pretty good one, Google Teams. It gives us realism. We're real people. Even though, Dave, you're over the mountain from me, but you're right beside me, Mm-hmm. When we as chief executives reach out, especially international chief executives, and when you're in Atlanta, Georgia at headquarters, and you're talking to a team and their families in the south of France or somewhere, they're talking to you. They are connecting with you as a person, and I often teach this to my clients, be who you are, be you. you know, if they would expect to see you in a plaid shirt like Dave's wearing right now, and jeans and slip-on shoes or something like that, walking into their office, then be on the video like that. Don't go into a suit and tie that you never wear. Okay. Be you. This is who I am. You would walk into an event and see me, or, you know, a lot of times running around town, I got a coat on. Okay. That's who I am. And so my people, we're on 17 countries right now. So when we get a group of people together, we got all kinds of things, you know, from various backgrounds and ethnic groups and stuff like that. And it's okay. It's all okay because we're all real people and we treat each other like real people. Dave, your thoughts?
I could not agree more. A word that I have a love-hate relationship with is authentic and authenticity. But the good part of that relationship is when someone is truly authentic, they use the words and the terms and the inflections and the passion that are them in real life, that are them in, you know, in a ballroom or standing at the front of a table or, you know, talking on the telephone or in a Zoom meeting. And there's a continuity to that personality and to that delivery. And a lot of people get really nervous when they're attempting to do something in video initially because they don't think they're ready for prime time. They think that they're worried about looking unprofessional, or they're worried about not having a script memorized or how to use a teleprompter. Trust me, you have no business using a teleprompter or a script unless you are a professional actor or voiceover narrator or somebody in the audio visual and or news or entertainment space. You can have an outline, you can have bullet point lists, you can have a checklist, points you want to cover, but the rest of the conversation should be you. And it's like riding a bike. The only way you get better at this stuff is when you practice it. Okay. And the opportunities exist. And Terry made this point clear earlier. You know, stuff's going to happen. You're going to, you know, motorcycle's going to go by in the background. Somebody's going to drop some silverware on the floor or something like that. You deal with it. That's real life. And you don't let it rattle you. And it's, you know, go for the personal conversation. People are going to appreciate that, and they're going to take it to heart, and they're going to bond with you over via the camera and the screen. It happens. I mean, there are some challenges that we'll talk about, but that's, for me, that's the most important thing, is to not get hung up on the fear. It's to practice, and there are ways you can get started on that in a very achievable, affordable, non-time consuming way. So I hope that wasn't too long of an answer or response.
No, you know, it was on point. I was going to go there too, you know. Again, this authenticity and being you really comes to the fore when, you know, if you have an outline or something, I've got an outline of points I want to make sure that I communicate to you guys today, because it's so important for you to hear my words or whatever. Be you. You know, it's quite all right. But if you're standing there with a piece of paper or sitting there with a piece of paper and you're reading it, send an email. Mm-hmm. You've lost them.
Don't put them through that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's particularly if it's a long one. You know, have a conversation with somebody. It doesn't have to be you the only person on the screen at the time. You know, if you're putting a message out about how the new products that they've been hearing about are doing, have your R&D person on there with you. Mm-hmm. to bring in some special points that are particularly interest to the R&D team that can be of interest to the families. Maybe
sure.
It's you know, I do 2-Minute Tuesdays, little plug, live, but it's just me. It's my points, my little 2 minutes, and it's poignant to me. Having a guest on there with me for 2 minutes is a waste.
Mhm.
My little "What Are You Doing" show has been tremendous fun and great success. Somebody gets on here like Dave, you've done it.
I've done it.
Gets
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it twice.
twice. That's right. He's good, ladies and gentlemen. And you get a 5-minute commercial. It's beautiful. And I add in what I should add in, not what I could add in. And those are great. And Dave, I want you to plug your business a little bit, so to speak, because I think what you're doing for companies, well, you and I talked about it a little bit on one of our ad videos about somebody who got some videos and they're thinking, is this right? Is this on brand?
Mhm.
Let's bring in somebody who can really tell us that. Well, this guy, Dave Summers, he's somebody we want to talk to. Maybe you could talk about that, Dave, because I think it's just cool.
Sure. I'm a digital media producer, consultant, coach. There's the sort of the content side and the support side that I help people with. My audience is primarily senior executives, C-suite people, authors, thought leaders, academics, um, associations. I work with global geopolitical organizations as well as trade organizations. And what I like to say is I just help people show up better online, primarily through audio and video. What Terry was talking about is several of my clients, they've been recording uh, themselves on their phone, or they've been recording Zoom conversations, knowing in the back of their minds that at some point this content they were recording was going to become a video blog, or it was going to become a podcast, or a video podcast, or whatever that they could put out on a website, on a service, make it available on Spotify and iTunes and whatnot. But they, in essence, got in touch with me because they had this this silver mine, this mountain of content, but they didn't know how to assemble it, edit it, make it prime time ready. And that's one of the things I do. I help people curate and present and do some post-production work on some animation, some titling, reinforcing graphics, branding. I help make them, in sync with their brand and with their personality. That's one of the things I do, and I love doing that. I'm working with a client right now that's what they're doing, and it's working. It's working very well, and the content's right there, and they appreciate the fact that I can get to it and turn on it quick. That's one of the things I do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like with me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining in or listening to the recording. When you talk about whatever your message is, you're sending a message to more than the person on the camera screen. Okay. You're talking to the people that you want to hear that message and see that message. But as important, the people that work for them who see the message and tell their boss about it. Hey, you were talking about this the other day. I just saw this video. You want to see it. I'm going to send it to you. And then there's the people you play golf with on the weekend. Hey, Ray, you were complaining last weekend about blah, 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 and video and getting your message out. I saw a video this week that I think you ought to see. In fact, I want to send it over to you. And there you go. It's valid. It's hot referral, okay? Because people they trust are the ones that are sending it to them. And that's just as important as anything else because I've done videos in the past where it was really kind of unclear from a technical perspective who I was talking to, and I would respond from those people. Thanks for your input, but this is the way I do it. Okay, I'm not looking for 100 coaching clients for the year. I don't want to do that. There are people out there who love that. I don't. Okay. So I speak a message to people that will either hear it or they'll send it to somebody else. And that's a lot about what your new clients are doing, which is terrific. That kind of brought along this conversation that we're having right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And to your point, it's not just marketing. A lot of people think it's 90% marketing. Well, that's not really true. Depending upon what messages you have to get out there, It's particularly if they're internally focused. It's giving your employees, your partners, confidence in the fact that you're the right person for the job of leadership, and that you've got a firm grasp of what the mission and vision of the company, of the organization is. But you're still human, and you're able to roll with the punches. And the other thing about video, the best video that's going on right now, is it doesn't try to boil the ocean. The best kind of video that is delivering messaging right now really is sort of built for, it's more of like a Lego brick. It's built for short attention spans, and it's built for people who are, waiting on a train platform or between meetings or walking down the street or something like that. And it might be a 30-second, a 60-second, a 2-minute, a 3-minute thing. Uh, and it's a challenge to get into your head what you want to cover in that 90-second, 2-minute time span. But the important thing you need to keep in mind is you don't have to boil the ocean. You don't have to tell them everything. You just have to give them confidence in the fact of maybe a 1 or 2 bullet point message you want to communicate, and give them a call to action at the end that says, good news, there's more where this came from. This is a weekly video blog I'm doing, or this is one of a series of 7 videos that I'm making available. Some of them deal on this topic and that topic. They all look and smell the same. And so a lot of people see these little videos and they go, what just happened? And they might love it or be attracted to it, but they don't know where to go with it. So the trick with a lot of that stuff is give people a sense of it's curated, it's content, it's what I call part of a family of messaging that you want to get across both to your clients, your customers, your partners, all the above.
Yeah, very valid point. Early on, I really didn't start working LinkedIn, even though I've had an account for a lot of years, until around COVID. Okay. And I had a conversation with a LinkedIn executive, and she told me, number one, you got a voice that people like to listen to, get out there, put your application in to get LinkedIn Live here. And you should do that. But as important is say what you're doing and say who you're doing it for when you start out, on LinkedIn. Here's a tidbit for you guys who are thinking about putting stuff on LinkedIn. Put the subject of your video in the very first frame, so people grab onto that in the LinkedIn feed. And same with Facebook and YouTube and other different things. It's like SEO. It's a different kind of SEO, but it is an SEO. And it really works. Another thing she said was what they're finding out in their research is people are busy, okay? Their attention span, like Dave said, isn't that long. So you really got to grab it right up front. When they hover over the video before they click on it, they want to know how long it is. And if it's 5 minutes or less, there's somewhere in a high 80% chance they'll at least click on it and listen to it. So you got about 5 seconds in the opening to say who you are and why you're there, and then go into your presentation, because they'll stay for 5 seconds or so and then they'll leave. So you want to double up there. Yeah, you got a little sign there, and you want to reiterate what it's all about to keep them 5 minutes or less. I never knew that. It has been golden for different things I've done. Dave?
No, I could not agree more. And again, that's fantastic advice. But I find that a lot of the clients that I work with, they are challenged, and they need to practice. They need to discipline themselves to attain that 5-minute mark, or in some cases that 3-minute mark. You know what I mean? And it's that's part of the practice. That's part of the exercise. That's part of the coaching support that someone like Terry can give you. Is love your message. It rings true. Next time we do it, pretend we're in an elevator and we're approaching my floor. You know what I mean? Or I'm sitting in the back of the cab and next stop is mine. You have to get to a point where you have to get people to not be boring. A lot of times that's just being yourself. And you need to get them to get to their point quicker. Everybody loves a good story, and some stories are a little long to tell. That's okay. At some point, you may need to do some, consulting with a coach, or working with peers of yours to get to the point where you're not telling every story, at least through video. You know, uh, and I know it sounds like I'm obsessed with speed. I'm not. There's sort of this uphill battle that we're again fighting for the human attention span these days.
Absolutely. Another point that came to mind from the spouse of one of my clients. She said, it's almost impossible for him to keep his attention for 5 minutes or something, like you alluded to, Dave. A lot of times he'll send it to whatever department he thinks ought to see that and can report back to him, is it worth me watching? Okay. So there's a lot of other different takes on that same message I've had some very good leads and referrals off of a video that did not have that much of view time for what the content was in the first week or so, but within 30 days, it was huge. So somebody was watching it later on down the line,
Yep.
And that's just as important, because if you're going to do these videos, track the analytics. Who's watching it? What are they doing?
Are they dropping off at a certain spot? That kind of thing.
Exactly. That's very important. So how boring was it for that point? Or did they just jump off because life happened? The kid fell on the floor and is crying and screaming and distracting. It really doesn't matter, just know your numbers as good as your department is, okay? Because they will get your mind working around the numbers as clearly as the ideas you're working with for moving forward.
Yeah, it's just it's your dashboard. Like the dashboard in your car. You know how fast you're going, how much gas you got in the tank. Your oil temperature. You know what I mean? You get reads on where you are and what's happening. So always, 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 be in touch with the metrics. You don't have to know every single one of them. There are 3 or 4 or 5 key ones that you should know, and Terry and I can help you with that. But that's really important that you do it. The other thing I would say, particularly for you senior level, senior executives who might be paying attention to this program, partner with your marketing teams and your IT organization so that this content has a place to live. If it's meant for a larger audience, it has a place to live on your intranets, on your internal portals, as well as, when appropriate, on external ones or on gated ones, so that, once again, people can show up and here's the video library or here's the video blog. And it isn't just, I misplaced that link that Terry sent me. You know what I mean? They live, and the freshest stuff is on top. You can smell the freshly baked muffins. You know what I mean? And that's an attractor, and that's going to get people coming back. The other thing I would say about the short stuff is don't be afraid to deliver deep and long messaging. But to Terry's point, do that in a document. You know what I mean? Do that in a white paper, and then have a follow-up video that's 3 to 5 minutes long that hits the hot points for you and that invites them to talk to you at the end. The call to action at the end is, you got the document. Here are my 5 big point takeaways. Please follow up with me at this email or this phone number. Interested in what you think, and so you're soliciting that feedback. You're soliciting that conversation.
Yeah, you're also giving them a chance to really connect to the ending of it by a call to action, a CTA we call it in the business. back in the day of DOS, disk operating systems, quite late in the last century, I like to say, I'd go in the office in the morning before I went and get my coffee or anything like that, and I would hit a combination of three different buttons on my dashboard, pick up my coffee mug, go say good morning to everybody, get my coffee, and come back and walk over to my printer, and I have everything I need to know for the next 9 months right there in the order I want them. Okay. That kind of thing can still happen, ladies and gentlemen. Get your kid to put it together, because you'd be surprised what they can do with a computer, or your IT person, or I don't recommend that you have each department head send you an Excel spreadsheet every day so that you got this stack of email. I don't recommend that. I recommend that you have somebody pull all of them together, and they're sitting there on your computer, and or for those of you who like paper, on your printer every day. So life just flows. It doesn't come in, okay, I need to do this, I need to think about that. You've lost the morning, if not the day. But you walk in, and your assistant's bringing in your coffee cup. Thanks, I appreciate you. And here's my morning reports. I already know what driving in the morning, more or less what I'm going to be doing for the day. But those morning reports, I say and those morning reports can give you a heads up about you might make some changes before you need to make changes. And so stakeholders, shareholders, your employees, everybody benefits from that. That A, you're on top of your job, and B, just as important as co-A, is you're calmer. You're more in control of your world. So that like live happens, a bark in the background, or somebody walks through the office or something like that, forgetting that you're on with somebody, life happens. But when it does happen, all right, here we go with but again. And when it does happen, all you do is respond to it. You don't react necessarily. Okay. And that's as important too. Well, we're coming to the end of some CEOs and doing some videos, and we thank you, ladies and gentlemen, about being here for about 30 minutes of your time. Dave, any last thoughts?
No. I'm on. If anyone wants to find me, I'm on LinkedIn. Just look for Dave Summers, and check out my website, davesummers.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions, whether they be technical or consultative in nature. Anyway, and obviously love talking to Terry. He's one of my favorite dudes.
His favorite dude. We come from an era where dude was prevalent.
Yeah, a little hippie tendency there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man, I was a 60s, 70s hard rocker, man. My favorite music, ZZ Top. So there you go.
There you go.
But I listened to Brahm and everybody else, depending on the mood. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. Do reach out. We're easy to find. You see us right here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Had a communication problem today, but I'll be uploading it to YouTube, my channel there too, here shortly. Leave us your comments. Jump right in there. We'll be watching these for at least the next few days to see how they're trending on the analytics side, but also for comments, and reach out to us. Both of us are very easy to find. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.